three sets of 14-inch hi-hats, ranging from the Sabian B8 Pro Rock Series 14-inch up to the Zildjian A Custom 14-inch series. And then at the top of the range, recently I've got this Zildjian K Constantinople 14-inch series of hi-hats. Now these Sabians will run you on reverb about 150 bucks. They've recently updated the range, so you're gonna have to get these used if you want this exact model. The A Customs will range about 400 to 500 bucks on Sweetwater. And then of course the K Constantinople series, if you're getting these brand new, they run about $700. Today's video, I not only want to do a comparison of all three of these so that you can hear what they sound like, but also want to give you a little bit of insight in my experience with the hi-hats as well. My name is Chris Green. My whole channel is about music production, tips, and advice. If you're interested in stuff like this, whether you're a drummer or guitar player or bass player or singer, I hope you'll consider hitting the subscribe button. And if you're already subscribed, please hit the like button. It really helps push these videos out to the algorithm universe. Now, with that being said, let's get started comparing these three different hi-hat cymbals. Just as a disclaimer, this video is not being sponsored by anyone, and I was not sent the cymbals or any products in order to make this video. I hope you'll consider subscribing. I hope that builds some of the trust with me and you, so that if I ever make a video in the future and I am sponsored or I have affiliate links, I'll be sure to make that known in the video. I'm not trying to lead you astray. I'm just trying to let you know this is my experience, and if you can learn from it, that would be great. So please consider hitting the subscribe and the like button. Let's get on with these cymbals. The last disclaimer I want to make is that I do have the top and bottom cymbals for all three sets of these hi-hats. I'm going to do my best to be as consistent as possible between the different takes of hi-hats. I'm not moving any of the microphones or the hi-hat stand at all. I'm not adjusting the gain, and if I do any processing, you'll be able to see the plugins on the screen as we're going through. When we're doing these comparisons, it'd be great if you wore a pair of headphones. You'll be able to hear more of the nuances of the differences between the cymbals. But majority of the point I want to make with this video and what I'm anticipating between all three of the different sets is that you can certainly be using affordable sets of hi-hats. There are just different scenarios and different situations where I might recommend you use one set over another. It's really up to you at the end of the day which one you decide to go with, and there are so many options out there. Probably the best thing you can do is go to your local guitar store or music store and look for the cymbal room and have a play. But in today's video, let's start off with the Sabian B8 Pro Rock Series. We'll put these on the drum set and see what we hear. As far as the description goes, there's really not much on these Sabian B8 Pro Rock hi-hats. This person just listed on Reverb B8 Pros are aimed at drummers ready to move up in their first serious set of cymbals, and their brilliant finish and intensive hammering certainly makes them look like proper cymbals. The only thing I say about that is that these would be cymbals, the Sabian B8 series. Yes, they are a good set of cymbals. If you're familiar with the Zildjian ZBT series, these are not necessarily entry level, but definitely if you're somebody that's gigging or somebody that's playing live, you at least need to be looking at something like the ZBT series or the Sabian B8 series as well. Most of the time, the cymbals that you get with these Pearl drum sets, or if you get a kid's set and they don't have any brand listed on the cymbals at all, that's like bare minimum. That's basically like just hitting a Campbell's soup can. So yeah, I would consider your bottom threshold is about $100. If you're gonna be looking at some hi-hats, try to save up at least $100, and that's gonna give yourself options. You can be looking in the used market for hi-hats. You might even just wanna buy the top hi-hat cymbal before you get a set of the top and bottom. That's totally up to you. So on the affordable side of it, yes, you probably need to save up $100 or so. And like I said, you can search Reverb, make offers to people. This is the Sabian B8 Pro Rock Series. Let's take a listen on the drum set. You know, whenever you're thinking about microphones, the most common go-to microphone that everyone says is the Shure SM57. SM57 is just all over the place. In fact, I'm using the SM57 on this hi-hat comparison because you all know what an SM57 sounds like. Well, I would say that the go-to cymbal series that you should probably be checking out is the Zildjian A Custom series, because just like an SM57, these aren't exactly the nicest cymbals that you could possibly own, but everyone knows what an A Custom series sounds like. Like on the description on the Sweetwater website, they say about the Zildjian A Custom series, it's not too dark, not too bright, cymbals that are just right for modern music. I know that sounds very generic, but if you're describing a Shure SM57 to somebody, it just sounds like a 57. Well, the A Custom series of Zildjian cymbals, number one, they've been around forever, it seems like. You can find so many of these on the used market. An A Custom series, whether it's hi-hats, crashes, rides, to me, everyone knows what these sound like because they're all over the place. Just like I said in the description, I don't think they're purposely being generic or vague about this. They genuinely sound, they're not too bright, they're not too dark. They're gonna cut through a mix, and to me, this sounds like rock music, okay? If you're doing modern drumming and you're wanting to be safe, you wanna make a purchase where you're not gonna regret it for going too far one way, too far the other way, check out the A Custom series of cymbals. So next, let's check out the A Custom series now on the drum set. Here's what they sound like. Many years ago, my wife wanted to surprise me for my birthday, so she called up a music store and she asked them, what's the nicest ride cymbal that you have? And they happen to have a used K Constantinople crash ride cymbal. I've never heard of the K Constantinople series, and when I looked it up on the internet, after I'd already got the cymbal, everybody that was playing the cymbal was like a jazz drummer. They're doing all these jazz beats, and I didn't know if, am I supposed to be playing this on rock music or country music or worship music? And I can tell you that a lot of times the language that they use when they're selling products like drums or cymbals, yes, it's heavily oriented toward jazz music, but that doesn't mean that you can't use it on rock and country. To me, this is just a darker sounding cymbal, and to me that's a very pleasing thing. When I'm recording a K Constantinople cymbal, I don't have to worry about those really harsh high frequencies that you hear a lot of times, especially on ride cymbals. It does have a long decay, so yeah, if you're doing thrashy, heavy metal music, this may not be the series for you, but check them out in a music store. If you go to a music store, the great thing is you can hit a lot of these cymbals and you don't have to worry about the verbiage where somebody's telling you like, okay, that one's meant for jazz, that one's meant for rock. Oh, you don't want those because they're meant for country. A lot of times that's just language they're using to sell it to like an upper level market, I guess. Because let's face it, if you're a jazz drummer, you might be somebody that's being paid for sessions and gigs. The K Constantinople series, I think you're gonna hear this as well. Whereas the A Custom is more balanced, where it's not too bright, not too dark. The Constantinople series tends to be a lot darker. And by darker, I'm thinking about this with a singer. When you have singers, you have sopranos and you have altos. You have tenors and basses. A soprano and a tenor, they're gonna be a higher voiced female, a higher voiced male. When you have an alto or a bass, they are lower voiced as well. That's the difference to me between this cymbal and the A Custom series. But I want you to hear it for yourself, so let's play a little bit on the K Constantinople 14-inch hi-hat. Now you've heard all three of the different sets of cymbals. Let's hear them all back to back to back for a more quick comparison. Last thing I want to say, just my personal opinion, if you are somebody that plays drums for a living, if you're getting paid to play drums or you're the drummer at your church, you definitely need to go to some sort of music store, if they still exist, and hit a bunch of cymbals and find a series that you really like. I definitely could feel a difference when I have the K Constantinople hi-hat paired with my ride cymbal. For so long, I had a mismatch of having the A Custom hi-hat and my K Constantinople ride cymbal, okay? When you have the two that are a set together, I really underestimated how valuable it would be to have all of the same series. So the same thing for you. If you're looking at going to the A Custom route, you really need to consider getting a full set. Maybe not all at the same time, but if you're going for an A Custom set of hi-hats, maybe the next thing you need to get is an A Custom ride cymbal and one or two crashes. Try to get a familiar set because they really do blend well together, especially in a mix. If you've got a mismatched pair of cymbals, it does tend to sound like something you'd hear like on Easy Drummer or Superior Drummer. When you go in and you just start swapping cymbals and brands all around, it can sound kind of unnatural. So that's my only recommendation to you, that whatever series you do go with, try to get a full set if you can, and don't feel the pressure to spend more money than you're prepared to spend. I'd be interested to know what kind of cymbals do you use in your set. If you let me know in the comments section, what cymbals have you been having a lot of success with? Which one was your favorite out of the three, the Sabian, the Zildjian A Custom, or the Zildjian K Constantinople? Be interested to hear. And of course, please hit the subscribe and like button if you haven't already. Thanks so much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.